Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker plays out like bad fan fiction.
No intro, no nothing.
It's
he just cuts to the chase.
straight
Like,
into
real
the
talk.
nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, I mean, so I took some notes when seeing it also.
Which lost his notes.
This will be purely spoiler. And I think that, I mean, the main overall thing of why I say it's fan fiction is because it retcons a lot of The Last Jedi. I think a really good example of it, there's two, is when Luke randomly comes into the shot as a Force Ghost. And the first line that he says when Rey is throwing the lightsaber in the fire is, "That's no way to treat a Jedi weapon." Yet, in the previous movie, he tosses it over his head. I think they missed a lot of marks when it comes to the whole, like, taking risk and challenges. Like, say what you will about The Last Jedi, I'm not a big fan of it. Angel, you're a fan of it, or...
I like The Last Jedi, yeah.
And Bucky, you are...
I'm in between. I kind of liked it, but also kind of like, eh.
Like, eh. And that's my thing. I just feel like, as a whole... that movie was ballsy because they took a lot of risk. They weren't the risk that we wanted as fans.
Well, when you see that, but like we had to put up a whole 2 years of you badmouthing the whole
because there
movie.
were a lot of things that as a fan, you know, it's like whatever. But this is like the ultimate damage control movie. Like, again, why is the first line like, "Oh, I was wrong"? It's like you might as well have Mark Hamill stare at the camera. I feel like, even though it would have been sad, a classic scene is, okay, so when Chewbacca gets captured, okay, and the Knights of Ren have him, which do nothing in this movie and die like
the Knights of Ren cinematically and just overall were let down. It was more like they were literally there for looks.
Yeah.
Like they I don't know how hard it could have been to add a scene. I felt like this movie in general missed a lot of scenes where they just could have been like, oh shit, scenes where like everyone's like, oh, in shock and awe. I felt like the Knights of Ren was seen. You never really get to see them do anything. I felt that the ground assault on one of the Star Destroyers was a missed opportunity. The one where they run with the horses.
In the air, like,
like, cause, like how cool. No. I'm talking about the one at the very end where they're fighting the Star Destroyers.
Okay, yeah.
And the ground team comes out and they're on the horses. Yeah. How cool would it have been, because they're all defected troopers. How cool would it have been to see them in the armor? But like with their own, like, you know how the clones used to do their little color?
Yeah.
Like they do there. How cool would it have been to see Finn come out with the fucking handprint helmet?
It would have been cool if they took those ideas.
It would have been like, oh my fucking god, no, they did it. Because that would have been a sweet scene. I would have loved to have seen that.
I don't know.
I feel like
I'm going to cut you off, but this movie was just meant to please us, you know.
It was, and I feel like they got
us loyal
pushed in that
fans.
corner, though.
But did it? Because it didn't tell a good story.
But it told a story, and
Well,
that's
it's
essentially
that way.
all it needed
It's
to be.
pretty much, this is how I view it. Is Disney's way of just saying, you know what, let's get this over with now.
Yeah,
and end
it's
it.
done. Disney was like, all right, we got this huge fan base. They're going to love us no matter what we do. So they do their stuff. They take risks. And everyone's like, fuck you. You can go to hell. Sign a petition. Get rid of this movie. It never happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Disney at this point is like, you know what? We're fed up with these people.
Yeah.
Just give them what they want. Make it safe. Make it clean.
And then end it?
And then end it.
But here...
We'll move on.
Yeah, but here's a good example of when they could have taken risk, and it would have been for the better telling of the story.
No, bro. I'm going to cut you
off. But
off.
they took risks.
They took risks. And the two risks is Rogue One and Solo.
Yes.
And the problem what happened is
Rogue One was
Solo
good,
flopped.
Solo flopped. Rogue One was good. And people bashed on Last Jedi so much.
Solo flopped because of it was a story that nobody asked for, and on top of that, it was right after The Last Jedi where people were boycotting it.
You know, I got to sit down here because
But no, I was going to say, like, here's a good
debate.
example of when they could have taken risk, and even though it would have hurt your spot right here, it would have been better for the story. The scene with the Knights of Ren when Chewbacca gets captured, okay? And Rey and Kylo, I love this scene when they're doing, like, the force pull with the transport ship. She shoots electricity and accidentally blows up the ship. Now, regardless of... And you could just tell from an editing standpoint, like, oh, there was another crater, got away. If they killed Chewbacca in that one scene, which is what the characters are led and what the audience is led this entire time, regardless of it being damn, Chewbacca, a classic character that you've known since the original movie, just died, along with the Knights of Ren, which had potential, it would have served the greater purpose of the story with Rey having this guilt and weight on her that can carry over to when she finally does fight the Emperor, finally does see Kylo. Like, and that to me is just missed opportunities. I don't know, like, it's... Again, The Last Jedi... I enjoyed my movie theater experience more with this one. But The Last Jedi told a better story from beginning to end.
But it was a story everybody hated. And you're not gonna design a house and then everyone say how ugly that house looked, and then when you get an opportunity to design another house,
Do the same.
do the same thing. You're gonna say, all right.
But sleep in the bed you made in. If you're gonna spend a whole this movie
ultimately it comes down to, I don't know why they continue this, but ultimately it comes down to that there was no overarching story between the 3 movies.
There was no plan.
There was no plan. It was like, let's make these movies, let's have these different directors, which made no sense.
Well, they did that for the original trilogy.
Right,
It made sense, but
you
they had a blueprint.
you still had like a grand scheme
Exactly.
between the first 3, the second 3, and this third 3. The third 3 had no overarching scheme. It was like, all right, here's the script, and then they gave, I don't know why they gave Rian Johnson was like, I'm gonna do my own story instead of using whatever outline they had, and that fucked it all up. That threw everything off.
And you know what? Bucky makes a good point. It is Disney. Like, this is another Disney property. We recently saw Frozen. My biggest complaint with Frozen is that it lacked focus because there was so much going on. There are so many parallels with The Rise of Skywalker because they realize, hey, we have the brand of Star Wars. It doesn't matter what we put on the screen. We'll make money. But I
don't even think it's that. I think it's like we have it.
That's a huge reason. And that's the thing. Like, then do something good with it. Like, personally, me, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, I don't know how you guys felt, but my ending is always going to be Return of the Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker is honestly the sloppiest way to do, like, this end saga. Like,
I feel I feel it was a good movie as a movie. It was okay.
Really?
It was
okay,
a good
why
movie.
do you think it's a good movie?
Like, it told the story, there was in it, it was okay. Did it have, like, awesome moments where you're like, oh, shit? No. Did it have... But it wasn't boring. You didn't want to walk away. You know what I mean? You wanted to watch the movie.
There was really no story, bro.
But it didn't have an end of it's not a good end of a trilogy movie.
Not only... I'm going to have to agree with Bucky on that. There really wasn't a story because first you jump into... Okay, the opening crawl... The death speak without any explanation. The Emperor's back. The man who was thrown off a whole shaft and then blown up.
Darth Maul.
Okay, and I was gonna say that Darth Maul came back too, but at least there was an arc that explained how he came back.
And I'm sure there is literally a comic, something that explains it.
No, there isn't, and that's the thing. Oh, we'll fill it out in the
You know
comic.
that for a fact?
Yeah, like
there is one because
boom,
in Fortnite. There's a little radio
there's
transmission.
something that says it because Rick was telling me about it today.
Yeah, like, that explains when it was in Legends how the Emperor came back, which isn't canon anymore. But this is, and Disney made it their goal, we're going to wash away the old canon, so he's just back without any explanation. And look, I know that there'll be a novel, or a book, or a comic book, something that explains how the Emperor comes back, but what does that do to service this story now?
I mean, it doesn't need to, though.
How does a general audience member, and that's why another reason why Solo was a little confusing, because you have a character like Darth Maul who got cut in half in Phantom Menace, and to us fans, we're like, oh, Darth Maul is back, that's awesome, because we saw Clone Wars and we saw Rebels. But to an Joe Schmo moviegoer, it's like, I thought I saw that dude get cut in half. How is he alive? Is it going to make me go back into the lore, or is it going to be this confusing plot point? The Emperor feels like, what is his basis? If you really break down the Emperor's plan... He's been waiting on an Exalt for 30 years with a whole fleet of armies. And, come on, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, it's been done in the books.
He's been
people love that story.
It's basically like this. I mean, the movie, it's you could tell that this was made just to fix what Rian Johnson did. Granted, if you went ahead and watched it, it's not a bad movie. It's just that fans bitched that, okay, Luke's dead now. Where do we go from here? So now JJ is going to be like, okay, so now I got to fix this. How do I fix it? So when he reaches in and pulls out what George Lucas says is already dead, he's going to have to use it now.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's another thing. You said Luke's dead. How did you guys feel about Carrie Fisher being reinserted into this movie?
I didn't have any issues with it. I felt like it was a little... The scene in the beginning where she's like about to leave, Rey's about to leave, and they're kind of like standing there. You could tell that they're like going in knowing that they did what they did with the animation and the stand-in and yada yada yada. You knew, okay, so that's why they're not touching. That's why she looks very like stoic and not really expressive.
And most of it was deleted footage from the first movie.
Right.
From Force, yeah.
So
I'll say this. I think that just not only just to honor Carrie Fisher, I really feel like from a story standpoint, it's a missed opportunity for them to do it in Last Jedi, which is fine, but I really feel like the opening crawl in this movie, and it would have served the Poe character more too, because it would have gave him the step of responsibility. They really should have killed Princess Leia behind the scenes. She died in between both movies, just to... I don't know, to me...
I can cut you off on that one. I mean, that makes no sense, because then that means you're going to have another harping person that's going to comment on
how
something.
did Leia fucking die?
How did
How did the
die?
Emperor
And
come
this-
back
the-
alive? Yeah,
Could have said she
But see,
died
this
of
is,
old
I mean,
age. Like, it's
what they
just-
should
It
have
is
done,
not
and this is
fucking
how they
future.
should have
It
done it.
has to-
Wasn't she in a coma at the end of?
No, she got out of it.
She got out of the
She got out
coma
of it.
at the end of Last Jedi.
They should have killed her in Last Jedi.
They should have.
Luke dies in Last Jedi, and then they should have went ahead and gave us something for Palpatine at the very end of Last Jedi.
That-
Just set up, at least set
So at
up
least
a
the
small
like even
storyline.
seeing him slowly get up, or like
Yeah.
hearing his voice saying "all my pieces are in order," like someone reported Snook is dead.
And that's another thing. I was going to
Would've
say,
been a nice
so
little setup.
going back to the CG, the one scene when they're showing like Luke and Leia train, and it's like a couple years after Return of the Jedi. It's
Right.
when they're just training. There's this one shot where like the helmet comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and the head just like shifts in a way where it's like, ill. Like it doesn't look natural. Like it's just you could tell it's fake. Like a multi.
But that's the thing. You're going in, you know it's fake. I feel like there's no way to bounce back from that.
I argue that
'Cause
the
when-
Rogue One
when you
CG
see
looks
it-
really good.
Because when you see it, you're gonna go, "Oh yeah, it's fake." Like in the back of your mind, you're subconsciously looking for the flaws. Anytime you have one of those situations where they're gonna do we're gonna do the CGI to cover their face. Because I was doing it at Tarkin too. I was trying to look
I
to
thought
see
that
where the
Tarkin
flaw.
and Leia look really good in Rogue One. That's just me. A lot of fans like complain about it, but I thought it looked pretty solid, saying that they're bringing back the cells from 40 years ago and trying to bring it back to life. Like I get it, but
See, I feel you like that though, because you're like,
the original,
well, you're more like
Well, for
you're
continuity, it
actually
makes
into
sense.
the filmology.
yeah.
And I feel for you, that's more of like, an excitement.
Well,
but for
that
like the
to me is
standard
cool because like
schmo,
there's
it's
more.
not.
It looks like they spent more time and focus on those things as opposed to this. It was like we need a quick shot, so they really didn't care when it got rendered. They really didn't care when it shifts up. They don't see those things. One of the lowest points, though, I think the biggest pet peeve I had. I want to know what you guys think. The Emperor coming back.
I actually like the Emperor coming back.
All right, why?
I feel it's cool. It's like a full circle thing. And I feel like it adds to it. It's kind of like a behind the scenes thing. Like, the puppet pulling the strings. I like that. I like how it was used to tie in Rey's, like, heritage and stuff like that. But I've always been a big fan of the Emperor being the ultimate evil and always having plans within plans. But I'm also, like, I've read the books. I've read the comics. So I know all about, the resurrected Emperor. And I felt like it was a nice throwback to those books that they've retconned.
All right, Bucky was shaking his head. I'm scared.
No, you know,
I didn't mind it, but honestly, I think they should have just used a different character.
I feel that had they did it in a different way, it would have been better. I feel like, because like I said, growing up reading the books and stuff, you always had like the scenes in the books where like former Imperials are always like the Emperor had it right, unified rule, screw politics. If like the Empire was still around, we'd kick our enemies' asses out of here. And I feel like it would have been better had they said that like the Emperor returned, and now legions of planets are flocking to his banner type thing.
See, the biggest problem that I have with the Emperor coming back, it's two things. The first thing is that it completely diminishes Anakin's sacrifice.
That I don't agree with.
Say what you will, but it diminishes the whole sacrifice of him bringing balance to the Force. It says, hey, the 6 movies that came before this one really don't matter because he never brought balance because the Emperor never died. And without any explanation.
Maybe he didn't though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like logic-wise.
No, well, that's the thing. You're seeing it from watching the new
But
ones.
from a story standpoint, if you're watching episodes 1 to 9,
no one is though. Who watches 1 through 9?
I would say everybody who's now, if this is
you
concluding
watch
the Star
you
Walker
watch
saga.
the first set, then the second set. then
Okay,
the third
but
set.
either way, whatever order you do, the whole basis of 6 movies, whichever order you watch it in, is that this one man, Anakin Skywalker, who becomes Darth Vader, is meant to bring balance to the Force. He does that in Return of the Jedi. Again, however you see it, and the galaxy is whole. So even
I feel
when
like
opening,
he doesn't though.
yeah, but even when opening in The Force Awakens, where it said, hey, things actually went bad right after that, 30 years later, I was able to buy into that because I said, it's a brand new character. It's possible that the Empire can rise. But for the Emperor to come back without any explanation, to me, from a selling standpoint also, it's really cheap because it's like, wow, you really don't have that much faith that you're going to put like this big spoiler in there. And then the second reason is, it obviously wasn't planned, but if they just gave a little bit of care, they could have said, Plagueis is actually... I would have been completely okay if it wasn't the Emperor, it was actually Plagueis in disguise as the Emperor, or even Plagueis. He was mentioned in Episode 3, he was mentioned how he comes back from the dead. That, to me, would have tied all these trilogies together. And it's the coulda, woulda, shoulda, it's fine, but I would have taken any explanation instead of he's back without...
Well, I think the...
Okay.
I think the implication is that, was it even the Emperor on...
We don't know. That's the thing, they don't
It could have been a
explain it.
clone he was controlling.
And even the fleet, like, you're telling me that thousands upon thousands of people who are... This is a Sith planet... are able to, like, just live, construct these ships, and even in the 30 years, like, this was kept a secret. Come on. Like, it was thrown out of the bag. Like, it just, to me...
Like I said, the problem stems from the multi-director, the whole new script in the middle. Because we don't know what they can say all they want, like, oh, it was always planned to be the Emperor, but unless, like, they release the original scripts and everything like
what
that.
What Lucas was going to do.
We don't know.
Yeah. Now...
Well, who was the original director for the third?
Colin Trevorrow.
Trevorrow was going to take over?
Trevorrow was going to take over the episode 9, and then he was fired. Then the person on their list was Rian Johnson, but that was before The Last Jedi came out. And then when The Last Jedi came out, they were like, okay, yeah, you're never touching another Star Wars movie again. And then they brought back JJ.
Yeah, but then why did they offer him his own trilogy then?
Do we really... I don't know.
Because
I feel
they know that if they want something new and different, Rian Johnson's the way to go.
I think this movie's the
But
ultimate
I feel
proof.
like they knew that if they said, all right, he's going to do the next one, people would be like, well, I'm not going to go see
I'll
it.
be honest and hate to say it. I'll be honest. Last Jedi, the way it ended, that's the way it should have ended.
As a saga point, right?
As a saga point.
I
That's
agree.
What?
The ending where it's like, Luke Skywalker is a legend. Rewatching The Last Jedi, I don't hate the movie. But I do think that it has a lot of cues and themes that you would find at the end of a trilogy where this is how it ends. Like, Luke Skywalker dies. His legend is being told. It's the ultimate message of anybody can have the Force. Anybody can be a Jedi. It's a conclusive ending. So going into 9 as a fan base, whether you like The Last Jedi or not, or whether you like anything Star Wars, where it's not interesting to go into how is it going to wrap up or end, because it's like, well, think about it. You're entering a movie, Snoke is dead, the main villain.
He wasn't the main villain, though.
He was.
He was.
He was minor character, though.
You gotta
in
remember,
both of them.
Force Awakens, even though Kylo's on the screen the most, he's a second-tier character to Snoke, because you're more wondering who Snoke is as compared to... You already know Kylo. He's Ben Solo. He's been turned. We don't know how until we find out in Last Jedi. He's not the main villain until Last Jedi.
And then he kills him. And then when it comes from an original trilogy standpoint, Han Solo died in Force Awakens. Carrie Fisher, unfortunately, passed away when making The Last Jedi. And Luke Skywalker died in The Last Jedi, but is the only living member who is willing to come back. So...
He came back.
Yeah, Han came back.
Well, Han came back we'll get into that when we get into the positives, but, like, I thought it was cool. But, you're entering Episode 9 with a divided fan base that didn't like the last movie. All of your characers that you love or grew up with are dead. Yeah, so it's like this movie was just like a hodgepodge. It's like we have to let's get a blender, a movie blender. We need to throw in fan base, like what's going to make the fans go giddy. Oh, we got to retcon The Last Jedi. We got to throw some good moments. We have to wrap up a trilogy. We have to wrap up all 9 movies. We have to give our funny moments, our good moments. It has to look cool. Like, and they pushed the button and they just said, poured it into a glass and said, drink it. Here's The Rise of Skywalker. It's a drink that you don't want to intake.
But you fucking paid to watch it.
No, I didn't though. Yo. All right, so I think we trashed on it enough.
Wait, really?
We're going to trash on it regardless because it's.
I liked the movie. I thought it was an okay movie. There was things in it I wish they did differently.
There's a lot of things I wish they could do differently.
I wish it had more like.
I
was a little let down.
I hate being that loyal fan. That's what it is. Because I'm going to probably be grouped into that group of fans that are bitter.
I think editing could have saved the movie.
I didn't like the scene for the trailer when all the ships showed up was cool looking, but I felt like in the theater it was not as.
Oh, so your audience wasn't as positive. They like our audience. Me and Bucky went. They
Really?
didn't even react.
They didn't. There was no reaction. They didn't even clap.
Yeah,
and
no
my
one
fiance,
clapped.
yeah.
And that's the thing. I felt like it was underwhelming.
So yours, it was a dry audience too.
Yeah, it was dry audience.
All right.
I think the only reaction we got was the Tenet trailer, and as somebody in the
Oh,
crowd,
really?
it was dead silent. You heard someone go, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah. All right. So let's talk some positives. So, what positives did you guys have?
Luke gets his X-wing.
He rises the X-wing,
Which I
agree,
don't
that
get
was in my
because I'm
list of
pretty sure
positives.
they said that, like, in a fun fact, it said that
Yeah, that was
the
my
wing,
list
So we're
of
talking
positives.
the wing of the X-wing was on Luke's hut.
Yeah,
No,
he said he did take pieces from it and used it for
Pieces
his
of the
hut.
X-wing to build his hut. So it's like, how's his X-wing still there?
It was in The Last Jedi too, so it
Yeah.
was just there. I agree. That was a good scene. It was cool to see, like, you know, because Yoda obviously in Empire said you can't rise the X-wing, and Luke, like, as a ghost, was able to. That was cool. Did you guys like the Han Solo scene?
No.
I thought it was cool, but I felt like if they're gonna go the redemption arc with Kylo, they should have flashed back to the scene where Han first gets impaled, and show Han activating it.
So
That's
different. But
Mine-
why did you?
Only
like-
because I
why
felt
did you
like
hate
that
it?
would really
I-
show that he was always capable of redemption.
I hate it. It's the only. I think that's the. I mean, all right. As scene wise, it could have been better. They could have tied in a little bit more emotion, but it felt like it was a rehash of the original scene where he kills him. You know, and you're sitting there going, all right. Like, I agree with you where they should have shown Han, you know, this is not Kylo or
Killing
Ben
his dad.
killing his dad. Han did it himself to help his son move along.
Yeah.
And then to do it again, you're like I rolled my eyes. I hate rolling my eyes. Like, any person that's lost their dad and has this point in their own life should have this feeling like, you know, I'm lost. I don't know where I turn. So you turn to the one person you need an answer from. You turn to your father.
Fair enough. I can see that.
So when he tells him, what does he say? You're just a memory.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's
you're
his
just a
memory.
The last memory he had of Han. So yeah, I liked the scene, and one thing that I didn't realize until after I saw the scene again was that the last line that Han says when Ben is about to say like Dad, and it seems like he's about to say I
Right.
love you. The next thing he says is I know. I'm like, oh,
It was a
that's
nice little-
awesome.
But that's like just another fucking checkbox. They're like, all right.
yeah,
we need
that
him
got
to
me
say-
in the feels.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Check
that's
that
awesome.
box.
We need him to say this.
I know.
Fans will dig this
But
shit.
I agree. It
Fans will
was
eat it up.
it was very lazy to be like, we're gonna Harrison Ford, come in for one day, don't cut your hair, and recite the same lines that you said in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I just want to know how much his check was for that. Like, that must have been like the most expensive check ever.
How much how much they paid him just to show up and do that
Oh,
one
you
scene?
know they paid him.
Oh, they
Yeah.
paid him back.
Did you
Oh,
guys
fucking so
like Lando Calrissian coming back?
I did
Nope.
not.
'Cause
I
thought
felt
it-
like they should have just kept the scene in the front. And then if they were gonna reuse him, just have him like don't give him the fucking ship. Just have him in like the fucking coordinator. or
So
some
you
shit.
hated it, you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I felt it was weird. And then that ending
Nah.
scene where he's
It
like,
was-
"Where
it
are you from? I don't know." Well,
Oh,
let's find
Jana.
out.
Well,
I'm like, is he hitting on her? Like,
No.
what the fuck is he doing?
Originally in the leaked scripts, that's actually his daughter.
That's what I said. I was
Yeah.
like, watch, that's his daughter to fucking Curtis. And Curtis is like, no, that's too stupid.
No, in the
And I'm
leaked
like,
script, but because of editing, they
because no one
edited
knows
that
where
out.
she's fucking from.
So you hated it.
No, I liked it.
Oh, you liked Han.
You
Or sorry,
liked
you
No, I
liked
hated
Lando.
Han's scene, but
You-
Lando
Lando.
scene, I felt it was needed.
I felt it was needed on the planet, not
it-
needed at the end.
It should have been needed in Jedi. We didn't get it. We got it in this one. It was worth it.
I think Billy D. Williams, when he's interviewing
He's
for this
old
movie,
as fuck, man.
Yeah, he's hilarious because
He
he's
is
just stuttering
he is
like
too damn old.
like
to
you
be
should
doing
hear his
this.
interview. He's like, yeah, so this is a spectacle. And
Yeah,
it's like I'm just like
It's
wow,
like a fucking speaking
he,
spell.
He just doesn't care anymore either. But I think Lando in this movie, he's all right. He does have a really cool scene when Poe is like in like desperate need. He's like, oh, we lost, and he's like, oh, but you know, there's more of us, and all the ships from like.
I felt that
Every
scene was
single-
crappy though.
Nah, they saw Endgame and they're like, we have to replicate that, but like in this. I thought it was cool to see every
I
ship
feel it would have been a cool scene, but I felt like amongst the clutter, you couldn't see anything.
pick out
discernible.
everything. You cannot pick out. It's true. You
Maybe it
can't-
should have been like one at a time, like popping in and then
Yeah.
eventually blow
They
up
showed
on the
Wedge.
screen.
Which they did. They showed Wedge. But honestly, I feel as though they not only Wedge, they should have gave us more characters from throughout the universe.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Or
certain
like
canon
pan
and
to
everything.
different planets to see other people rebelling. Because like one decisive battle isn't going to win the whole fucking war.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool idea and scene, similar to the whole Rey and the ghost talking to her scene. Because
I felt like we should have saw the ghost.
exactly, like I'm
That-
like, isn't the whole point of these ghosts?
That would have
like,
been
you can
awesome to see
them?
like what you know the Harry Potter moment where everyone has their hand on her shoulder type thing going all the way back.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of hearing like the voices of, because from a normal moviegoer standpoint, you have no clue who these voices are.
Yeah.
And like from a fan, obviously you can tell Yoda because he talks weird. You have Luke, who he's there. But everybody else, like, you can't tell that's
You could
Anakin.
barely hear Anakin.
Yeah,
I heard it, but like
you can barely hear Samuel L. Jackson.
no
as
one
Mace
knows who
Windu.
the fuck Qui-Gon is anymore.
Wouldn't it have been cool if like you had your real moment where like I'm telling you, like I want to edit this so badly where Rey's on the ground, she's looking up, and then like a hand reaches out and everything, and it's Obi-Wan, and then all the ghosts from like all 9 movies come out, even if they're minor Jedi. And then when you see every single ghost and everything, Luke's the one who hands her the lightsaber and says, and I'm all the Jedi. Like, it would have been done in a way where it's
I felt
like...
that you couldn't do it with the Old Republic people, though. Because they would have been like, oh, Palpatine's daughter, let's kill this bitch.
No, but that would have been... It would have made more sense because it's literally all the Jedi going against Palpatine, who, again, very against, but still...
Palpatine's granddaughter.
So we're talking about the Lord of the Rings scene where all the ghosts are around them.
Is that what it was?
The Dead Army.
Oh, the Dead Army.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Dead
yeah,
Army.
yeah.
I'd be all about it. Like, I'm telling you, like, as cheesy as it sounds, I think Star Wars is deserving of that epic moment.
But that's why I say the movie's not great, though, is because there isn't those epic
They
moments.
dropped the ball on some things. Like I still feel like Anakin should have had a bigger part than just the voiceover.
For real. It's
I
called
still
The
feel
Rise
like
of
the
Skywalker.
original story, the original like idea for Anakin was to have him show up as a Force ghost, but have him like
He
shift
was
between
half
Vader
and... Yeah, I heard that. It was like a
that would
Force
have been a
ghost.
sweet thing to see.
Half of his body is like on the dark side, so it doesn't show, and it shows like little flashes of Vader. But then the other half of him is Anakin, so it's like because he's fighting the light. I'm
Even
like,
at
I
the
would have been
very
all
end.
about it. Would have been cool to have Revan in there too. That's just.
Yeah, but
I know, that
they're
would've
saving
really
that for
thrown-
its own.
I was
fucking
thinking the
movie.
dark and light side, but it's like
Yeah, they're saving that for their own fucking movie.
I got to think of other
Revan movie,
pros.
2020.
We didn't. I mean, Hux was wasted. Like
Hux was. I felt like going from freaking Last Jedi forward, Hux was just a joke.
yeah, I mean. Oh, I'm the spy. I just want Kylo Ren to
Fail,
lose.
yeah.
Like,
Out of
come on.
petty revenge. And you know what's funny? I kind of figured it was Hux from the very beginning.
Exactly. It's
You
like
knew it was going to be Hux
Yeah,
from
I was
the
like, it's
beginning.
Hux. As soon as
The
they're
only-
like, there's a spy, I was like, it's Hux.
the only one at the table. Like, I love that scene where like, who's the spy? And then Kylo Ren's like,
Hux.
is there something wrong with my mask? He's like, no, it looks great. I'm like, oh, I wonder. The one dude who's sweating, like, yeah. So we need to find the spy. Sweating like the whatchamacallit.
I did not like that. I thought I recognized Piet
What?
from the very fucking beginning.
Piet's dead.
No, Piet, that was him.
Piet's dead.
No, he says, rise, Piet. That's what I thought.
Then it must be a
Because
descendant.
there's a line where he
Piet
says,
died.
lead my army, lead the fleet like you did for me in the past. And he
Maybe
says,
it's General-
rise, Piet.
Are you talking about the new general?
Yeah, that's General
That's
Piet.
Price. No, that's
Are you
General
sure?
Price. Positive.
Pride.
It's Pride. General Pride.
General Pride.
I could've
Piet
sworn he
died
says
in
back.
Jedi.
That's what I thought, but it's the same fucking actor, isn't it?
No, it's
No,
not.
Are you
someone
sure?
Yes.
Are you positive?
Positive.
Google
100%.
that shit.
I'm positive like it is.
Positive you're
A
wrong.
character who got... Yeah, he's dead, Angel.
Hey, fucking people are coming back from the dead left and right. What does fucking matter? At
I'm
this
sure
point,
that of all
everyone's fucking
people, Piet
immortal.
is not going to be one of the people. If you're going to bring back a character, bring back Amro Akbar.
Fuck him, bro. He's dead.
We got his son though.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, is that who it is?
Akbar's
His son
cool.
in the background?
It was his son in that movie.
Oh.
Well, speaking of
He looked
background
like
characters,
a big fucking
Yo.
big-eyed goldfish.
Rose got completely butchered in this movie. Yo, I think...
Look, everyone complained about her, so they're like, all right, back burner.
No, but I'm saying, like, it's just hilarious because it's like, yeah, we're not retconning The Last Jedi. It's like, Rose, Tico. I love it. Like, Finn's like, oh, yeah, are you going to come on our mission? No, I have to stay here and do things. Okay. Like, why? Why can't she join the crowd?
She didn't want to.
No.
The women's allowed to make her own decisions,
Okay.
Jared.
It's how she got written.
Yeah.
Exactly, like...
They took her out.
But the specialist, wasn't her whole point in the last movie was that, like, she's a tech specialist on the ship? Wouldn't it make more sense for her to be on the quest with them? I love Jaina, don't get me wrong. It's not just... I love her for two reasons. One, she's black and female. I'm all about it. And 2, I like the fact that she was an ex-stormtrooper who and had a whole army that revolted against the First Order. It parallels with Finn.
Yeah, Matt Smith was in this movie?
He was cut out.
It was cut out.
Oh, really?
He was cut out, yeah, but he was supposed to be.
What was he supposed to play? Stormtrooper?
I think Jaina was really good. I love Zori Bliss.
Palpatine, from what I heard. The
Yeah.
younger version.
Oh, really?
Did you guys like Zori Bliss or?
Who the hell? Oh, the character was
Yeah,
cool, but
Palpatine.
like, I for some reason I kept thinking it was Gillian. But then I looked.
I
it
just
up
love her
and I was like,
thing
oh,
where
shit.
Poe's like, trying to kiss her and everything. Oh, you want to give me a goodbye kiss? And at the end,
She's like, no.
exactly, it's like, maybe now. It's like, no. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, yo, I don't know. Like, I thought that was cool. I said Pin. Finn being force sensitive.
Okay, so it's not that he's force sensitive. It's just that the force, you don't have to be force sensitive to feel it.
Yeah, but it seemed.
I
out of the blue.
thought they were gonna go somewhere where like the entire platoon was FNs, and maybe it had something to do with where they harvest them from. You know what I mean?
Isn't feeling it the force?
I agree.
Well, no, because
like,
you
I
can
think
feel
it
the
is.
force. You can have people feel the force, but like that doesn't mean you can control it. You know what I mean?
But Finn could feel the force. Like it's
Like,
kind of
whenever something happened to Ray, he was like Ray, like he.
even when Ray died.
So
like
maybe
yeah,
he is
like
a minor force.
no, but
sensitive.
even when Ray died, they made it their goal to cut away to Finn feeling it. Like oh shit, she's dead. And
the question. Okay, so when Finn does his original revolt, is he on Jakku?
what?
When Finn does the original revolt, like where he doesn't shoot,
He's on Jakku.
he's on Jakku. So what if it's just like a link between him and what's her name, and like that's all that he felt.
Nah, I doubt it. I
No,
doubt
but
it.
then they showed something else, and he's like hit it there. She's like, "How do you know it's there?" He's like, "I feel it."
Oh, that scene was hilariously. I laughed at it, like because it's like, oh, I think it's on that ship. How do you know? The music stops. I feel the force. I'm like,
No, he
dear,
said, "I feel it."
I feel it. I'm like, dear God, like, come on. Like, I know we have cheesy moments in Star Wars, but they stop the music so he can say it. Nah, and we mentioned how Rey died. So Ben Solo, who teams up with Rey, he gets thrown out of the movie for a while. Then he comes back and he gives his life to save Rey. And the thing that's trending, like, I don't even call it trending, but the thing that's everybody's kind of divisive on, the kiss. Did you guys
I felt it was forced. Like
it was
I was
forced?
just like
It was forced. It was a moment meant to give to these
shippers,
chippers, the fans that wanted
The
this.
Reylo fans?
so they can be like, yeah, we were right.
But does that mean? But you guys think they make a good couple?
I think they do.
Well, here's the thing. He said they're a
don't know.
didac, right? Like they're the same person.
Yeah.
So I guess in theory you would be attracted to yourself.
I mean, I'll say this. I definitely would have preferred an ending where Rey's not a Palpatine. She's just, again, a nobody, and she ends up getting together with Ben Solo, so they end up really...
Yeah. That would have been cool, like in the end, if they were both alive.
They were
and they're
both
like,
alive
who are
and they
you?
were
And they're
together.
like, we're the Skywalkers.
We're the Skywalkers.
I felt like that scene was weird. Like, it would have been better had Kylo survived and it'd been,
Yo,
who are you guys? We're the
I want to cut where
Skywalkers.
instead of the Skywalkers say we're the Slowskis. We're the
I don't
Slowskis.
think they make it.
You don't think they do?
I never saw them as a couple.
I think that, you know what? I'm alright with them being a couple. Like,
Yeah.
I was about it.
So how are you going to explain to the universe that your husband just slaughtered 500,000 people?
I think Padme had to do the same thing with Anakin. So with that
She was
being
dead.
said...
She was dead before he started killing people.
No,
No,
she
she
killed
wasn't.
the fucking Tusken
He
Raiders.
killed
She dated him right
the Tusken
afterwards.
Raiders,
Yeah.
the
But
younglings.
Yoda's the
But
one who
she
said
didn't
this
have
was going to
explain
happen.
anything
And he-
afterwards
and
because
he-
she was fucking dead.
And he said it too. He's like, I killed them all, women, children, and she's like, let's make out. Like, that's how this is.
Alright, but in
But she
revenge...
didn't have to explain it to anybody. People didn't even know they were dating.
Yeah,
That's why
it
she
wasn't-
didn't have to explain it to anybody. Nobody knew.
Oh, that bastardly Anakin killing
Yeah,
kids.
killing
oh,
kids.
Darn,
Oh,
it's a
darn it,
shame.
yeah.
Oh no, it's like
He did kill the younglings.
They had it
for
coming.
real. Master Skywalker, there's too many.
They were
of them.
indoctrinated.
What are we doing?
You couldn't trust them.
Oh, shit. Just the look on that kid's face when he saw the lightsaber.
Exactly. Like it's a cool scene. It's like for all the wrong reasons, but it's like, damn. That one kid. Like, I just want to know what the last kid was doing. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Was he fighting back? Like,
No, like, exactly. Like, at
behind
that point, it's like,
trying to
what do
open
I
a
even
window
do?
with the lightsaber.
trying to melt a hole in the wall. Let me get out of this bitch.
It's fucking kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go get them, guys.
It's so underwhelming. I feel like, and you know what? Here's the sad truth about this movie.
What was the time frame between the two movies, too, by the way?
A year.
Like, production-wise, like, what was it?
It was
They
2
did-
years
they
for
did-
production, but the movie takes place a year after it. I think this movie single-handedly just made me go, like, fuck, like, I don't like talking about Star Wars anymore. Because there's not a lot of good. It's just like, now it's a bunch of bad. Like, it's just, there's the bad outweighs the good now. So it's like, oh, yeah. Like, do you generally, like, think about it? The majority of this episode, like, we're how many minutes in? Yeah, we're 30 minutes in. How much of this is negative as opposed
It's
to positive?
literally like
Literally
90%.
about 90%.
Yeah.
And you can listen to a bunch of other podcasts, but listen to us first. But I mean, like, but you can listen to a bunch of other reviews and everything, and the majority of the like critical
The
response is
feedback is
negative.
negative,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's like, it ends up going like, here's the ultimate question: like, was this sequel trilogy really worth it?
No, I don't think so. No, I
Was
feel
it-
like it was a
I don't-
letdown
I'm
on
gonna
that.
say-
That's what I said earlier. As a trilogy, this blew.
No. I would say this was not needed.
No, probably not. But
They could have ended on Jedi and I would have been happy.
I agree too. I was one of the people when Episode 7 got announced. I think I still have it in my old wallet. I said, like, the things they need in Episode 7, but at the end of the day, like, I don't want to see in Episode 7. I think that Return of the Jedi is a perfect ending to the saga. I think that too many movies, and this really takes shots at everyone, are so hung up on nostalgia and sequels, and we have to do this and that they fail to realize think about Terminator. How many reboots are there of the third movie? Like, sometimes the movie is just good when it's over, and it's meant to be over. I think that's why The Mandalorian works.
as long as something makes money, they're never.
To
it's never
everybody
gonna be
listening
over.
That heard Jared say that he didn't want to see episode 7, go to their YouTube and look at his reaction to the fucking trailer.
True.
She's got a point.
Because he looked like he came in his pants.
Okay, like, yeah, true. But I grew into 7 because it's like, wow, they're getting back the original cast. Wow, they're doing this again. Like, oh, here's the Falcon. Like, oh, this is giving me the feels. And then,
I feel like Leia's death fucked everything up.
no, I think it was, you know what?
Because I heard going in like it was supposed to be all right. So this one's all about Han.
One's about Luke and
One's about
Leia.
Luke.
Yeah.
One's about Leia. Leia's supposed to like shine in the third one,
Yeah.
and this one had to die on us.
And I think that's the ultimate thing, too. Like, you really think about it. And not only did we have... I feel like The Force Awakens, I loved it when it came out. But unfortunately, now when you rewatch it, because it's so undermined by The Last Jedi that all of these plot points they set up don't really matter, it kind of weighs The Force Awakens down. Because you watch The Force Awakens before The Last Jedi, if you've never seen it, you're like, wow, what's this, what's that? But then the following movie, it's like, it doesn't have that same weight. So after rewatching The Force Awakens, I'm like, wow, like, that glow that I had, like, back in
I wasn't a
2015.
huge fan of Force Awakens.
I love The Force
I
Awakens.
thought it was
when
good,
came
but I
out.
thought the acting was kind of bad. I was like, they're always fucking smiling at each other. What
It's
the
better
fuck?
than the prequels. I'll say that. I will say that. But one thing the prequels do have over the sequel trilogy
Is-
its purpose.
Not only that, but I feel like the prequels give you the like, oh shit moments, like the parts you get excited about, the lightsaber fights, the space battles. It has it all.
I agree. Like, look,
Those.
the
Even the
prequels.
ground battles between the clones and the Geonosians.
I think there's a lot of cool things in the prequels that, again, yeah, compared to the original trilogy, it's not
It
as
had
good.
Darth fucking Maul, man.
And look, but at least it served a purpose. Like, regardless of what you feel about those movies, it gave a weight to the original trilogy, that wasn't there before. Now you understand why this friendship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, why it's so sad when they're fighting in A New Hope, instead of just two old men going like that. Now you understand why it's such a big revelation when, like, Darth Vader redeems himself at the end and turns good. Like, the overall story arc is better. The sequel trilogy came in and pretty much said, hey, because at the end of the day, you have 3 movies that don't feel like they're in conjunction with each other. You have one movie that's a rehash of A New Hope, one movie that says everything established in the last movie doesn't matter and we're going in a new direction, and then the last movie, which is like, we're gonna fix all your problems and also make you feel good too. And
There's
do a
nothing
sloppy
wrong with
ending.
making people feel good.
But
You
did
realize?
it though? Did you walk out of this movie?
Does everything have to be dark with you?
No, but did you walk
Dark Knight
out of...
Generation
Just
pictures, I
ask me
swear to
this.
God.
When you walked out of The Rise of Skywalker, did you say to yourself, that was a great ending to a 9-chapter saga?
No, but like I said, it was missing
And
that.
that's where it failed. That's one of the areas where it failed. Like, to promote this movie as the ending of a saga is a joke. To promote the sequel trilogy as necessary is also a joke. It's not needed. Like, that's...
I feel it's needed. I disagree with you on that.
That's
There's too many things unwrapped in The Last Jedi.
But to cut you off, there's a lot of things unwrapped in this one. There's a lot of plot holes in Rise of Skywalker, which will never get filled.
These actors have
which
said
ones?
they're never coming back either.
Which plot holes? Give me an example.
I mean,
Finn's secret.
He was gonna say "I love you." That's obvious.
he wasn't.
The actor tweeted what he was gonna say.
He was going to say he's Force sensitive.
Yeah. But it's a plot hole in the movie.
Yeah, he tweeted that. The Emperor coming back, it'll probably get discovered.
Have tweeted it because now, like, it's better for people to
Speculate because it would have gained a conversation. I agree.
And I thought he was gonna tell Ray he has feelings for her too. Although in every movie he has a different love interest, so I don't know what he's
That's right.
doing.
In this one, it was Poe.
No, it wasn't.
It
It
was
was
Poe.
Jaina.
There was
It was
sexual
Poe.
tension
It was
between
Poe
Poe
in
and
all three
Finn.
movies.
I'll say it right now. Poe
Poe
was
in all
there.
3 movies.
Look, I would have been all
I
about it.
thought Jaina was his sister when they first.
That's
met.
what I thought.
That's what I thought
yeah.
too.
But that would make
But then
him...
at the end, when she was like, "I'll die for you. Let's get a fucking boat," and I was like, "Are they gonna get together?" Because then I saw Ray and Kylo K, so I'm like, maybe he's gonna be with the
Ray
boat.
and Finn are like the hottest motherfuckers in the galaxy. Everybody wants a piece of that ass.
for real.
Poe wants Finn because he's like, "What were you gonna say to Ray?"
Yeah.
Like, what were you gonna say?
Look, and I'm just saying that. I feel like the sequel trilogy, I love Finn. Not only just because I love John Boyega, but, like, I really do love...
Look like John Boyega.
That too. But I mean, like, I really do love Finn because as a character... He was the first, I'll say it, he was the first black character in Star Wars where I'm like, man, he's not a traitor. He's funny.
He technically is a traitor.
Alright, he's a traitor to the Stormtroopers, which is the losing... I mean, like, it's the enemies. So, I mean,
I'm
it's
still
like,
a
whatever.
traitor.
But
Traitor's a
still,
traitor. You think
I was
Dominic
like...
Armour
But he
will-
was a funny... Like, I was like, man, like, Finn is awesome. Like, I love him. And...
Also, is he a traitor? Because like he was forced into that
Hey,
lifestyle.
He was
It's not-
captured
it's
as a
not like
kid.
he-
As a child, which means he was indoctrinated a certain
But
way.
he knew that wasn't his life because he remembers being captured.
And it was unique because it was like, we've never seen a Stormtrooper have a conscience or personality. Like, it's just, wow. And Finn was the first one. What were you going to say, Bucky?
Well, no,
Like you're a
because
part
I
of it.
remember in the movie, didn't Jaina say she was
She was a Stormtrooper also.
Yeah, but at the same time that when Finn rebelled,
When Finn revolted, he might have
was
started a movement.
Well,
like,
that's why I thought they were gonna. I thought they were all gonna be FNs, meaning they all came from the same like planet.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought the reason they all would rebel is if they were all force sensitive. If he's force sensitive, then there's a chance like the entire culture or planet
was force sensitive.
is force sensitive, which would explain why they all
is.
rebelled.
And look, like, that's another thing I like. I think Adam Driver is going to go down as, like, one of... I think he's a really great villain.
Yeah, I
think
feel
it's-
like he redeemed himself in this movie. Like in the first one,
Yeah.
everyone's like he's a bitch. Second one, when he fucking starts fucking
I thought-
hucks around, you're like, what the fuck? All right, like, this is the guy we wanted to see in the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like that opening scene where he's just slaying through people. I feel like this one redeemed him as a villain in this.
I think Adam Driver
But
is
did
not
because
only...
he ended up
Not being good. I
Well,
know.
still, but I think his arc, the overall arc is interesting to
Except
say...
for the death.
No, but to say, like, hey, the heroes of the last trilogy that, like, everybody looked up to, their offspring, their son, is the bad guy in this one. That, to me, is like, whoa, already cool. But then also, Adam Driver, the thing about his performance, he always talks like this, and he always has a straight face. So, like, it's really... I think it works for the role, for him to be, like, you know, in a mask, and when he's not in the mask, the temper tantrums and everything... I'm all about it. I think the arc of him killing Snoke, that's one thing where... And he, unlike Vader, he didn't do it to save anybody. He did it for his own good. He was like, I want to be in charge. Like, I can... Like, to
You
me...
hated that.
No, I love when they kill
No,
Snoke.
when it first came out, you were like, yeah, they killed Snoop. That's so stupid.
Well, it's
Your
stupid
exact
because the next
fucking
movie
words.
has to come out. So it's like, why would they kill the main villain? How would you feel
Because
if
he
you're
was
watching...
a puppet.
How
But
would you
was
feel?
Well, didn't he do it to save somebody else? Because after that,
He wanted
him and Ray killed everybody else.
Yeah,
They
that's
teamed
true.
up, but the next thing he says was, "All right, look, we're done. Join me, and we can rule the galaxy, just us." He didn't do it to save her. He was like, "I'm tired of."
He probably did to save
Yeah.
her, and then
Allegedly, he did it not to say. He did it for himself. Allegedly.
I don't know. There's good things in this sequel trilogy as a whole, but overall, I feel like it's a waste. Like, Mark Hamill doesn't like it. I think if Luke Skywalker himself isn't even proud of his work, that's
Luke
saying
Scott,
something.
Mark Hamill is a washed-up has-been. He doesn't get an opinion.
How dare you?
Just joking.
Yo,
Just
I was about to say, how dare
in my
you?
house.
joking. Nah, just joking. I love Mark
How
Hamill.
dare you say that about
That's
the
my
Joker?
fucking Joker, all right?
So really? No, but I think that there's a lot of opportunities they could have taken in this trilogy to make it better. I feel like it is a rehash for a lot of things, which nostalgic does sell, but from a marketing standpoint, I understand. But from a storytelling standpoint, it doesn't really make sense.
Overall, I feel that they just played it safe.
I don't know, and just that's the thing.
They
It's,
played it
played
safe
it
with
a
having
lot
enough
safe.
little
it's
twists
safe.
that were like, oh, that would be kind of cool. Like, what if she did fall? You know what I mean? But then, like, at the bottom of the day, it's
Yeah, like I
the
think about.
flip flopping death scene that bugged the hell out of me. I don't get what. the point
Yeah,
of
I
that
think
was.
that's the thing too. Like going back,
Just
like,
have him run through or something with a lightsaber instead. Like, why throw him off the cliff to come back up and heal her and then die again?
And that's my thing though. It's just like they have a lot of ideas though where it's like, oh, this could happen, but it doesn't. Like going back to the Chewbacca thing, if they did it, I would have been okay. C-3PO sacrifice felt wasted.
Because he came back.
No, not only that, but like they could have made it more sentimental, but what did they do instead? They were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take the comedic route." Like I laughed when it
This
was
shit
like,
kills me.
What?
I hate to say this, but yeah, the whole like I'm assuming using all your force power, and then just you turn to nothing and just disappear.
Okay, so if you're in balance with the Force, when you die, you become one with the Force.
you become one with the Force.
And him going from dark to light, back again, made him become one with the Force again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Vader has to get burned by fire. I got you. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. A lot of fucking sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So they didn't really care about anything that came before. There's a lot of things where it's
What did Leia even do? Because Kylo has been evil for years, and just one time she said Ben, and he was like, "She's right."
I feel like
She used all her power to
she
distract him.
connected, and I want to say they should have done it in a flashback that she should have showed him all his like good childhood memories.
And she could have never done that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like having her do that because so the overall fan theory right now is that Rey killed Leia.
I don't know. Like that's me.
When she connected to Kylo and Rey, he got distracted and Rey stabbed him. The shock of getting stabbed because she was connected with Ben at the same time is what killed Leia.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
I thought it was because she gave all herself to Kylo.
I feel like it wasn't that. I feel like it was the lightsaber, the blow to the lightsaber killing, almost killing Kylo is what killed Leia.
I hate to say this, but you're gonna laugh. When she stabbed him, I thought that was it for the movie.
You thought he was dead?
Yep, this is
Done.
dead. The movie's over with. We're done. We win. We go
We're
home now.
done.
See, that's sad. That's your thought when after that happens. It's like I don't care about anything. It's just he's dead. It's
How long?
over.
How far in the movie was that? That had to be at
We
least
were like 2
45
hours
minutes.
in.
We were 2
I
hours
feel
in
like
when
there
she
was
did that.
there was
Yeah.
another. Was it only 2
Yo,
hours? I feel like
'cause
there was another
I
fucking
literally,
No,
I
hour.
literally
2.5
felt like
hours,
I
but it
literally
was
felt
2
like
hours
it
in.
was like 2 hours, like not even 2 hours. I thought we were like an hour into the movie, and she stabbed him. I was like, "Yo, that's the whole fucking movie's over with. What are we gonna do for a whole nother hour here? Watch him floating around in space?"
Fucking Palpatine's next now. Knocking Sith Lords off her list.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it just this whole thing is a mess, like an unnecessary mess.
I feel a movie was necessary. They couldn't just leave it at what they did.
Well, I'm just glad it's over with.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not like a happy ending. It's like I'm just glad it's over.
It's a good
now
enough
we can
ending.
move on to
It
a
is
solo
the
sequel.
Revenge of the
put
Sith.
a solo sequel. Yo.
Fuck the Solo. No. I feel Solo made a lot of mistakes too, actually. Yeah, I said
Yo,
it.
what
I'll
are your
stand
thoughts
by
on
it.
Solo, Keels?
All right.
It's the best Star Wars movie ever.
But yeah, overall this movie was a letdown. I gave it a 2, possible 3. Or 2.5 at the most.
I know my score. I'm
My
just.
fan base pick is just leaning to a 2.5, falling onto a 3 if I have to.
I'm giving this a low blow too. Like
So,
I need to rewatch Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace to see where it ranks.
I may need to watch it again, like not in 3D. I feel like every time I watch a movie in 3D, I like lose like some type of like observation.
I don't know. I just feel like as a whole, this doesn't have a lot of rewatch value, and I feel like you're gonna see more and more flaws the more you watch it. That's just me. Mm-hmm. I feel like from an editing standpoint, this movie can be saved to be a decent movie. Mm-hmm. From an editing standpoint,
there's parts of the movie that would have made it great. I feel like I said, if you add a certain like more imagery to certain scenes,
you don't think it?
Cool.
Nope. It's over with. It's done. It's done.
That's what it's gonna be.
It's
gonna be
Skywalker saga's over with. Now we move on to something else. That's how.
Skywalker was such a good name, though.
The Baby Yoda franchise.
That's right. Yeah, I swear to God, at the end of Mandalorian, in the series finale of Mandalorian, if I don't see fucking a Yoda like species in Mandalorian armor, I'm gonna be pissed off.
I was making that joke too. Like, the season finale of The Mandalorian comes out tonight, and I was saying, what way
that little kid doesn't walk the fuck out with a helmet.
No, not even that. I was gonna say the biggest middle finger to the fans would be like the Mandalorian being like, I gotta take him somewhere safe. You see like Mark Hamill or Luke training. Oh yeah, give him to my Jedi Academy. This is my nephew Ben. I'm like, God no!
Fucking Baby Yoda got killed.
Why? Like, oh no! Please.
There is no academy
when
yet,
does
though.
that take place?
In 5 years.
The Mandalorian is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And then Force Awakens is 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So 25 years. Yep. God, if they did that, I'd be like, why?
Oh my God.
I'm sick and tired of all these Jedi missing MIA during the fucking movies. Like, they keep making these prequels and shit like that.
I know.
Like that game. What was the new game that came out?
Fallen Jedi.
Fallen Jedi, where like, alright, we're gonna add this kid who's Force sensitive. Where the fuck was he at the
Like,
Empire and Return of the Jedi?
I'm so done.
Like where was Starkiller this whole time?
Yeah, like where the fuck is Starkiller at?
You know what? It's an unfortunate end, but yeah, I'm done with Star Wars.
Wait, the last thing is, how do you guys feel about her taking the name Skywalker out then?
I'm alright with that.
Yeah, movie's over.
It made sense because she identified with Leia. They tried really hard to make it so that she saw Leia and Luke as like, not so much Luke, but more Leia as like mentor figures, parent figures. She definitely saw Han as a parent figure. She probably should have been a Solo, in all honesty.
They dropped the ball so hard on that very end.
So
they left Anakin out. They should have put Anakin in with the Force Ghost.
It's called the Rise.
That would have been cool. Yeah, had she saw Anakin and he just like bobbed his head or something like that, and she was like Skywalker. That would have been a nice scene.
So I'm using a MacBook right now, and because Ray can do it, I'm going to officially change my name to Jarrett Jobs.
Jarrett Jobs.
Because I can now. You can. You can go to somebody's vacant house and say, "Oh, what's your name?"
Listen, in a galaxy,
Skywalker.
you can change your name to whatever the fuck. She didn't have a last name. She could pick whatever the fuck she wanted.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go to the one desert. And how does she even know where Luke lived? Like, it's just like,
I'm sure she
who
heard
does
about
that?
it.
Who goes to somebody's
He's
vacant?
always leaving maps everywhere.
Exactly.
But oh yeah, a map that'll. Tell
And I'm pretty sure in the days of the New Republic, it's common knowledge where the fuck the hero of the Republic fucking was raised.
Lived.
Okay.
No, but like that's.
I'm sure there's fucking tours to
Why does she go
Tatooine
there?
Just to live there.
To bury the lightsabers.
Yeah, to bury the lightsabers and live there for the rest of her days.
Let's see, I don't know if she's gonna live there.
Oh, jeez.
Now had like, what's his name survived, and they went there. Kylo, thank you. If Kylo had
That's
survived.
what I'm saying. If they, I would have been like, yeah, perfect. Like it's well deserved. It would have.
But
been
even
full
then,
circle.
Kylo is technically a Solo. Why would he call himself a Skywalker?
I feel like it's technically. First off,
it would be an easy way for him to
Restart
and stuff. Yeah, because if you think about it, if Vader survived Return of the Jedi,
he would have
how many people
war
would have
crimes.
actually exactly like
Motherfucker
would have
been executed.
Yeah, you know what? But another thing is that, I mean, from a canon standpoint, why would you want the last name Solo now that we know how he got his last name in Solo? I'm a loner.
He doesn't know that.
Solo!
He just
It's
knows his
like-
dad was a motherfucking smuggler, general, all-around ladies' man, and
That's what I'm saying. And I think it would...
fucking Han.
Han, yeah,
Han
but,
didn't even know his last name.
That's what I'm saying.
no, Han did... That's what I'm saying.
Ben
in
doesn't
Solo,
know that.
Fucking Imperial guys
Ben
are
doesn't
Solo.
know. Ben doesn't
Solo,
know
we're
that.
going to type it in.
As for all we know, Han could have been like, yeah, Solo's a great family, ancient Corellian family name.
So he's going to lie to his son. I don't know. To me, I think it would make more sense for him to take on the name Skywalker and for Rey and Ben to be the Skywalkers. I would have been like, perfect. I full circle, live in Luke's hut. You've been on Tatooine. It's been there since the prequels.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think
Perfect.
she's gonna be there forever.
Well, she's not going to be anywhere.
Because I think that the point of her having the lightsaber,
a yellow one,
yeah, the one she made, I feel because it's one she made, obviously. I feel the point of her having a lightsaber means she's completed her training, she's ready to move on, and it just so happens when someone walks by, she chooses the name Skywalker.
That's so cheap. Like, just what? Skywalker.
It would be funny as hell
Poor
if the person
Finn.
shot her.
You're trespassing,
Skywalker.
Skywalker. No, you know what I've
That
actually
motherfucker
heard?
owes me 20 credits.
No, you know what I actually heard? If she actually, because I hate the revelation, but that she's Palpatine's granddaughter, if she actually did say Rey Palpatine and turned the name that was known as, like, negative in the galaxy into a positive thing.
But we already know that can't happen. Because when someone revealed when Leah
Was, I know, related to Darth Vader, it was like, yeah, you're losing
everyone
your
hated her.
relationship.
They're like, yeah, you need to step down, you need to step away.
Which I think is like, wow, you know. I don't know, like, to take
Did they do
name.
the same to Luke?
Well, Luke was a Jedi.
Luke wasn't in politics, though.
He wasn't in the Republic. In politics, it would be like if somebody had the last
why
name.
didn't they do that to fucking what's her name?
Who?
To Rey, or is it because it's 30 years
That-
later
that-
nobody remembers?
The
something
handful
about
of people
Vader?
that know she's Palpatine's daughter are all dead now.
No, but I'm just saying, Leia was a Skywalker, and she was hated. 30 years later, Skywalker, same person. Now nobody cares. Is it because it's been 30 years later?
It could be that, and no, it wasn't
Rey
that they
should never
hated.
go into politics.
Also, people don't know Anakin was Vader.
Yeah, they do because that's how Leia lost
No,
her position.
Leia lost her position not because people knew he was Anakin Skywalker, but because people knew he was Vader.
But that's
They-
what I'm saying.
no,
Vader
they-
was Skywalker.
Yeah, they make that distinction clear in the in between. They say that because she was the daughter of Vader.
No, in Bloodlines, the book, they clearly make it known, like right after that, and the fall in the beginning of the First Order. If you read Aftermath, that it's known in the galaxy that Vader and Anakin Skywalker are one and the same.
person.
Yeah.
All right, but it's also because of Vader part. That's what they emphasize. And
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
It's like if someone was related to Adolf Hitler was trying to run for president.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if Hitler
That's what I'm
changed his
saying, but
name,
Hitler can be a bad person, but then Hitler's son cannot be a bad person.
true, but in
but he's still
politics,
going to be automatically
yeah.
associated with him. It doesn't
politics
matter.
wise, it wouldn't matter. Someone use it as a smear campaign.
I agree. Somebody would use it as a. That's why I'm asking why does 30 years later doesn't matter? Because it's been,
it does.
Been it's been so many years since Hitler, and people now still don't want Hitler.
I think
Exactly.
it does. That's why the resistance was so small, though, because the Republic didn't support the resistance.
My only thing is why would she take that name if she knows it's hated?
Well, is she a Skywalker or is she Solo or Organa still?
She's a nobody. But I mean,
she
like,
just called herself a
Leia.
she's
Skywalker.
really a Palpatine.
No, not
Leia?
No, I'm talking about Leia. What is Leia?
Leia's Organa.
She's
Well,
still
Leia's
Organa.
an Organa
Does her and Han
by
have
her
iron?
adopted name, but she's bloodline-wise a Skywalker.
Right. All right.
And her plane got exploded.
But see, the thing is, I don't know. Did they even make any mention of her? Anyone else other than knowing she was a
She
Skywalker?
actually never gets called Organa.
General Organa. Yeah,
General
Do they call her
General
Organa?
Organa,
Okay,
yeah.
she never actually gets called Skywalker.
Or they say the princess or whatever. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
she's still there. I don't
See,
know.
I think that's a dirty secret still. I think they kept that secret.
All right. We're closing it.
All right.
So the next Star Wars movie should be Tagging Binks.
For real. I'm ready for the rise
You
of
know
Jar
who
Jar
Tagging
Binks.
Binks is? You know who Tagging Binks is?
The rise
Tagging
of
Binks.
Jar Jar Binks.
Rise of Jar
At
Jar
Dexter,
Binks. He's dead.
at Dexter Webster's diner. Yo. During the holiday. All right, during the holiday special. All right. Star Wars lacked peace and purpose.
Deuces.